108. But now this is different. There is a minus outside, the square root of negative 108. We know this is or it is not a real number. It is or it is not a real number.
It is.
Careful. The square root of negative 108. The square. Yes, it's not. It can get a little confusing. We have to be careful.
That's what I said.
I agree. It's not. Sorry. If you said it's not, I heard it is. I'm sorry.
Yes.
My mistake. So negative. I have to write this the square root of negative 1. Then I have to write the square root of 108. But I already determined that. I already determined it in the previous problem. This is 6, the square root of 3. What do I replace this by?
I.
Exactly. So careful now. The negative stays out where it is. Negative 6i, the square root of 3. And this is the final answer. And it's not a real number. So, negative 6i, the square root of 3. Okay? Okay, let's quickly look at these three to see. Yeah, you will. Yeah, let's look at one of these. I'm assuming they're all the same, the last three. Okay, you choose. 22, 23, 24. So these are different situations in which we simplify these radicals. They're not fun, I know. So 22, 23, 24. But now we can. You want 24. Very good. Okay. So we have negative 9 minus the square root of negative 50. Perfect. We cannot do anything to this. We cannot do anything to this. We have to break this up. So what would you write first for the square root of negative 50? First, you will write the square root of
negative 1.
Perfect. Now think in terms of 50. I would think in terms of 50s, this times this. This one is a perfect square, this one is not.
2 and 25.
Perfect. 25 and 2. Awesome, perfect. So then I have to write the square root of 25 and the square root of 2. Brilliant. That's it. Once you understand and you practice, you're going to be experts in this. What is this?
5.
What is this?
5.
Excellent. So this piece, which I have here, is 5i the square root of 2. 5i the square root of 2. We don't write anything after square roots because I may write by mistake x and somehow extend the radical symbol. That's why we are afraid to write anything after a square root. Okay. So we are coming back. We haven't finished. I have to copy negative 9. I have to copy the negative sign, and now I replace this by 5i the square root of 2. And no one can do anything to this. Remember, you cannot perform negative 9 with negative 5 because negative 5 is multiplied. By the order of operations, we multiply first and then add, subtract. This is it. It's carved in stone. You cannot do anything else here. So I will copy negative 9 minus 5i the square root of 2. This is it. No one can further simplify this. The first piece is real. The second piece is imaginary. There is no way I can add real numbers to imaginary numbers. This is it. Any questions? Okay. I'd like to continue. Where am I? I'd like to continue with, so this was 1.4, radicals and radical expressions. We completed everything. I hope you have everything, every information you have. And this is a big next section. Okay. So we're going to look at 3 other methods of solving quadratic equations. So back to solving quadratic equations. Solving quadratic equations. The first method was done and over with, factoring. The second method we are going to talk about is called the square root property or method. The third method we are going to look at is completing the square. Final method is quadratic formula. That's it. And now you can say, and I will agree with you, listen, why do I need 4 methods? Why can't I just always use the quadratic formula? I don't need these 3. True. I agree. I would say I agree with you. Why do I need 4 methods? I don't. But this method, if it's easy, if it doesn't take too long, I will always try it first. If the numbers are too big and it's cumbersome and I am not forced, so we are assuming that at this point, nobody says you have to use this. If it says I have to use this, I have no choice. But if it gives me a quadratic equation and it says solve it, fine. I will first try this. If this is not possible and it takes too long, quadratic formula. These 2, I will never think of doing or applying, but they have applications. They're important. So I will talk about them. And this one specifically is not difficult. This one requires work. So give me a quadratic equation, I'll try this. If it takes more than 30 seconds, I'll say I don't need it. I will jump to the quadratic formula. So maybe we should just simply jump to the quadratic formula and then discuss these 2. So this was done. Now let's look at the quadratic formula. And then I'll come back to the other 2. So quadratic formula requires the equation to look like this. It's not the zero product principle. It's the general form, the standard form of the equation where A is not 0, B is whatever, C is whatever. So the quadratic formula, you have to remember it like a song. This is how I remembered it. I said negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac divided by 2a. So once you say it several times, it will stick. You will have it in your notes if you want. As I said, I allow you to have a page of notes. But it's easy to remember it. It's not a big deal. Negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac over 2a. Now, please be very careful. This is any number squared. Do not ever put or start with a negative sign. Ever, 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 no matter what b is. you should never write -5 or -10 or -16 or no, because whatever b is, you have to square it, and this will always be a positive number. Okay? So let's look at an example with the quadratic formula. Let's see where the quadratic formula is here. Quadratic formula, here it is. I skipped the first one, we'll come back to it in a minute. I don't know if 7 is the quadratic formula, it doesn't matter. We'll find it. No, it's not. Good. So here it is. We have 3x squared equals 8x plus 9. We're asked to use the quadratic formula and solve this equation. What do I need to do first? Remember, this is the starting point. Without this, I cannot correctly identify A, B, and C. What do I do first?
Minus 8x minus 9.
Of course, of course. 3x squared minus 8x minus 9 equals 0. Now, I compare. Can anyone tell us A?
Three.
Excellent. Can anyone tell us B?
-8.
Careful. Always the number with the sign in front. The sign belongs to the number. Finally, compare and get C.
-9.
Indeed. The next step, write the formula. X equals negative B. Negative B. B is -8. With minus in front will be 8. Plus or minus. The square root. The first number must be positive no matter what. I have to square B. Can anyone square B and tell us what to write?
64.
Excellent. Then I have to copy minus. Then I have 4 times 8 times C. Let's multiply A and C.
-27.
Correct. Because I have a negative here, I will change this into positive immediately. So I don't have to put more parentheses, because remember, I have to put parentheses. Multiplication and subtraction cannot, the symbols cannot sit in the vicinity of each other. So one more time. Negative B plus or minus the square root of -8 squared. When I square a negative number or positive number, it doesn't matter. I get a positive number. Then I have to copy -4. But when I multiply A and C, I realize that I get -27. And since I have already a minus in front, I'll change it to positive. Now 2A, 6. Now, one comment or one note. If I happen to have a negative leading coefficient, first I will multiply both sides by -1. I refuse to solve an equation with a negative leading coefficient. Please learn that from me, because you may forget, and you may forget to put the negative in the denominator, and the whole expression becomes more difficult. So if I had this situation, let's say, I'm going to erase it. Let's say I have -4x squared plus 2x minus 1 equals 0. First, I multiply everything by -1, and I get this. This by -1, this by -1, this by -1, this by -1. And this is the equation that I solve, which will have the same solutions with this one, only because the leading coefficient is positive. I will not use the quadratic formula on this, but on this. So I don't ever have to have a negative number in the denominator and mess up everything. Okay. Now, this is nice, but plugging in the calculator is a different story. So I'm going to share my screen. Clear, and I'm going to do this. Let me stop sharing for a second. I will have to have parentheses here, and I will have to have parentheses here. I don't know which type of calculator you have. Some calculators may not require parentheses here. I don't know, but this is the correct way of entering it. So I will have left parenthesis, I would have 8, I will put plus, I will put the square root, I will put parentheses again, I will put 64. I will not do this by hand. 4 times 27. Close inside, close outside, and divide by 6. Now, if the answer would be an integer, I'm fine. If it's not an integer, then I have to go back and simplify as we just did, the radical. I'm hoping for an integer, but it's not. So here's what I need to do. So in that case, I will only write x equals 8 plus or minus, and I will perform just this addition and product. So what do I have? I have 64, let's see what that is, plus 4 multiplied by 27. So that's 172. Now the difficult part, oh, did I share? No, I didn't share. Oh my goodness. Sorry. So, sorry. So I'm just performing these operations, and I get 172. So which is ugly. It's not a nice situation. So I'm going back, 172 divided by 6. So now that's what we just did section from before. I have it 172, which is 2 times 17 divided by 2 is 6, and 12 divided by 2 is also 6. So then this is 2, again multiplied by 2 and multiplied by 33. This is a prime number. There is nothing I can do. So this will be 4 times 33. I have to go back and replace 172. Very tedious situation. So x equals 8 plus or minus. The square root of 4 is 2, and the square root of 33 has to stay. Now this is fine, but it's not fully simplified. Please remember, you cannot simplify 2 with 6. You cannot simplify 8 with 6 because these are terms. You can separate it and simplify it, or you can factor out a 2, the greatest common factor. 4 plus or minus the square root of 33 divided by 6. Now this is a factor, this is a factor. Now you can simplify. But you cannot simplify 2 with 6 or 8 with 6. So the simplified form, very tedious problem, a lot of steps, very easy to make an error, a lot of simplifications, radicals, simplify, factors, simplify. So the simplified form of the answer is 4 plus or minus the square root of 33, everything over 3. So the final answer, x equals 4 plus or minus the square root of 33, everything divided by 3. And this is carved in stone. Don't try to do anything else to it. This is not a friendly problem. I completely agree if you say that. So now, how do they want us to enter the answer? Simplify your answer. Type an exact answer. So they don't want any approximations. Always read the fine print. Using radicals and I as needed. There is no need for an I. There is nothing with I in here. use integers or fractions for any numbers in the expression. Use it. So even the way they want the answer, it takes 15 minutes to read. I'm exaggerating, but you know what I mean. So here's how we enter the answer. Fraction. Oops. How do I delete this? Okay. Fraction. The top, 4. Plus. Where's my plus here? I could write plus or minus, but it says use a comma. I could use this and put both together. They don't want that. Use a comma to separate answers. So plus. Now I have to write the square root. I have to write 33. I have to put the denominator as 3. I have to continue, put the comma, repeat, everything the same but with minus, 4 minus the square root of 33 divided by 3. Again, not a friendly situation. I needed, a lot of attention to read all this and a lot of work to get the answers. Okay, so let's see what I did. Plus 2, 33. Did I copy the problem correctly? I copied the problem correctly. Let's see what else I did. So that was 3. That was negative 8. Positive 8 plus or minus the square root of. Indeed, 64 minus 4 times A times C. Correct. Correct. I did get 172. 172 divided by 2. Oh, got it. Got it. Sorry. 16, 12. Okay. It's 86. 86 divided by 2 is 43. Okay, I'm checking my numbers again. 43 times 2, 6 and 8 times 2, 2, 6, yes, 43. Okay, that was my, sorry about that. Let's see if it allows me to correct it. I hope I did. My numbers were off. So this was 4. Okay. Okay. So I put 66 instead of 86. Sorry about that. So this is again the quadratic formula. Okay. Now let's talk about taking square roots. Okay. So this was quadratic formula was method 4 on our list. Where is it? So factoring, quadratic formula, we want to talk about the square root method. The square root method is useful only if I have something squared equals a number. If I don't have this set up, the square root method, taking the square root from both sides, is useless. So here's an example how we apply this. So here it says the left-hand side is a perfect square, the right-hand side is a perfect square. Yes, we will be using the square root property or the square root method. But how do we do it? So this is clear, that's what we have to do, but how do we do it? So we have the equation 2x plus 7 everything squared equals 36. Good. So let's solve it. Although they're not asking us to do that, but I want to explain the method. So let me stop.